Hey, how are you? There's crazy stuff going on. Pam Bondi, the Department of Justice, Trump's regime, just sued every single federal judge in the state of Maryland. That's not hyperbole. Axios is reporting DOJ lawsuit fuels Trump's war against judicial branch. The Trump regime's unprecedented decision to sue all 15 federal judges in Maryland, blue state, mind you, for slowing his deportation agenda broaches a dangerous new phase in his push to stifle the judiciary, legal experts warn. This is how fascists take over. If you know anything about Italy and Germany and Spain, this is how fascists take over. They target the education zones, right? We already see Trump putting his boot on the neck of like Harvard University, Columbia University, right? With like MAGA DEI. So you go after the universities, you go after the courts. That's what they're going after now. And you go after journalists. And that's what we're seeing now, too. Trump he's like, fire Natasha, whatever. Oh, she wrote a bad story about me. Throw her in jail. They're saying that she should be arrested. It's remarkable. We're really descending into fascism at a rapid pace. Ayatollah Khamenei came out, the supreme leader of Iran, inshallah. He came out and he said Iran will never surrender to the United States. He also said that our bombing did fucking nothing and that he fully expected Trump to embellish the successfulness of the strikes. Pete Hegseth came out going fucking going nuts, going like, we blew it up. It's weird. It's a weird day. It's a weird day, so why don't we get to it? Real quick. Hi, I'm Chris Valenti. I am a piece of shit douchebag from New York who majored in history and minored in political science. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I fucking hate fascists. And support me financially if you want this to keep on happening. Anyway, let's keep reading a little bit of this story here. Judges have been one of the few obstacles to President Trump's push to reorient the entire federal government to his agenda. And legal experts said the unorthodox lawsuit is an attempt to further challenge judges' power to check the executive branch. The quote, "This is in many ways a bizarre lawsuit that seems designed to pick a fight with the judicial branch," said Alicia Bannon, the director of the Brennan Center for Justice's Judiciary program. It's clearly another example of this regime trying to send a message to the judiciary that it thinks that it's crossing lines. Very interesting, very interesting. So the Trump regime is just attacking the First Amendment as per usual. Now, let's talk about the defiant Khamenei. He says Iran will never surrender to the United States. Iranian supreme leader says U.S. strikes on nuclear sites, quote, did nothing significant in first comment since a ceasefire that was agreed to by Israel. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has said Iran will, quote, never surrender, end quote, to the United States, striking a defiant tone in his first remarks since a ceasefire with Israel took hold. Khamenei, 86, claimed victory after 12 days of war, culminating in an Iranian attack on the largest U.S. military base in the Middle East in Qatar, after the U.S. joined the Israeli assault. The U.S. President Donald Trump unveiled the truth and made it clear that Americans won't be satisfied with anything less than surrender of Iran. Such an event will never happen, Khamenei said. Khamenei's remarks come 2 days after a ceasefire halted the war between Iran and Israel, the foes' deadliest and most destructive confrontation, and mark his first public appearance since June 19th. Well, what the fuck did they expect? Meanwhile, speaking of Iran, ICE has begun just arresting anyone who's Iranian in the United States of America. I'm not kidding. If you are Iranian and you are in the United States of America, you need to be alert.
ICE is at the forefront of making sure that we're rounding up all these individuals or attempting to locate the ones that did get in. You have one that with admitted ties to Hezbollah. We also arrested a former sniper from a hostile country who snuck into the United States. So those are the type of individuals we want to locate.
So you hear it there. That's Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons talking about the work his agency is doing, trying to find and apprehend Iranian nationals in the U.S., given concerns of potential sleeper cells here. And ICE has been busy. Federal sources telling Fox in the last week alone, ICE has arrested 130 Iranian nationals all across.
Listen to what he just said. ICE has arrested 130 Iranian nationals. That's just somebody from Iran. He didn't say criminals. He didn't say undocumented. He didn't say it. He just said they've arrested 130 Iranian nationals. A national is just somebody from fucking Iran.
The United States, and ICE currently has 670 Iranian nationals in ICE detention.
So they're just arresting people for being Iranian.
Now, we talk about some of those people who are detained right now. You just heard Todd Lyons explain some of it. This guy, a former Iranian army sniper who had his military ID card on him at the time of his arrest.
Dude, what's hilarious is that, like, your crazy Uncle Todd, like, those fucking people who genuinely watch Fox News and, like, take it as, like, scripture. This is the scariest fucking photo they've ever seen. This is horrifying to them. You know what I'm looking at? A whole bunch of brown dudes. I don't give a fuck. But to them, they go, oh my God, it's Al-Qaeda.
This guy, a former IRGC member with suspected ties to Hezbollah. This man had a gun in his waistband. And I says another.
You are literally Fox News. You run ads for pink guns for kids. Shut the fuck up.
One of them was a known or suspected terrorist. So they are going out and they're going into overdrive trying to track down these potential threats. For more on this, we want to bring in former acting ICE director Jonathan Fahey. Jonathan, ICE is really cranking it up when
nice neck, you fat bastard.
it comes to finding these Iranians. Your thoughts?
Yeah, they're doing a great job, and Director Lyons and Tom Homan are doing a fantastic job focusing in and getting these people locked up and eventually removed because they see them as a danger. And it does show a drastic change, and unfortunately it's a change from the previous administration where they seem to put public safety, national security secondary to their open borders agenda. And I think you were reporting earlier.
Yeah, Biden's open border agenda. Yeah, Biden, who deported 4 million fucking people. Jesus Christ. So, let's move on. Away from Iran, away from World War III, and let's talk about Trump's attack on the First Amendment. So Natasha Bertrand is the CNN journalist who broke the story about how the bombs that we dropped in the nuclear facilities did not destroy the facilities, and that is correct. And now the Trump regime, who hates the First Amendment, they hate free speech, they are fascists, they have their first target in terms of the journalist they want to throw in jail, and it is her. Natasha Bertrand should be fired from CNN. I watched her for 3 days doing fake news. She should be immediately reprimanded and then thrown out like a dog. She lied on the laptop from Hell story, and now she lied on the nuclear site story, attempting to destroy our Patriot pilots by making them look bad when in fact they did a great job and they hit pay dirt. Total obliteration. She should not be allowed to work at fake news, CNN. It's people like her who destroy the reputation of a once great network. Her slant was so obviously negative. Besides, she doesn't have what it takes to be an on-camera correspondent. Not even close. Fire Natasha. The President of the United States is just calling for the firing, and also No Lip Levitt said that they should be arresting this woman. Of journalists for reporting the fucking news. This is how fascists take over. They go for the education. They go for the courts. They go for the journalists. Look at Hegseth attacking a Fox News reporter, mind you, just for asking hard questions.
Have certainty that all the highly enriched uranium was inside the Fordo Mountain, or some of it, because there were satellite photos that showed more than a dozen trucks there 2 days in advance. Are you certain none of that highly enriched uranium was moved?
Of course, we're watching every single aspect, but Jennifer, you've been about the worst, the one who misrepresents the most intentionally. What the president said.
This is planting seeds for simply labeling anybody who asks a hard question as a fake news journalist.
I'm familiar.
Report about the ventilation shafts on Saturday night. And in fact, I was the first to describe the B-2 bombers, the refueling, the entire mission with great accuracy. So I take issue with that.
I appreciate you acknowledging that this was the first the most successful mission based on operational security that this department has done since you've been here, and I appreciate that. So
Absolutely.
we're looking at all aspects of intelligence and making sure we have a sense of what was where.
It's unreal. And now we've got Pentagon leaders cite military tactics to show destruction from U.S. attacks on Iran. This is the Associated Press. Pentagon leaders laid out new details Thursday about military tactics and explosives to bolster their argument that U.S. attacks had destroyed key Iranian nuclear facilities. But little more emerged on how far back the bombing had set Tehran's atomic program. In a rare Pentagon news briefing, Defense Secretary and alcoholic Pete Hegseth, General Dan Kane, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, worked to shift the debate from whether the nuclear targets were obliterated, as President Donald Trump has said, to what they portrayed as the heroism of the strikes, as well as the extensive research and preparation that went into carrying them out. You want to call it destroyed, you want to call it defeated, you want to call it obliterated, choose your word. This was an historically successful attack, Hegseth said in an often combative session with the reporters. So they have no proof that they destroyed this facility. The Iranians claim they didn't destroy this facility. The radiation levels did not increase, which would have happened if they destroyed the enriched uranium in this facility. This was a complete and total failure. And you don't need to take my fucking word for it. Even the goddamn BBC fucking agrees. The U.S. gained nothing from the strikes, Iran's supreme leader says. Ayatollah says that, but we genuinely didn't. You got to think about it. What was the goal? There was a couple of goals, right? For America, it was destroy the chances of a nuclear Iran. Well, that was a failure. Even the fucking Pete Hegseth, the Department of Defense, says we pushed their program back by a couple of years. That's not destroying their nuclear program. That's pausing it. So you're admitting this is going to be a forever war, and we're going to go back in there in a couple of years, bomb them again, assassinate their nuclear scientists again. So you're admitting this is a forever war. Okay? So that failure. We didn't assassinate Ayatollah Khamenei, who fucking Trump said that on Twitter. He's like, we know exactly where he is. We're not going to kill him yet. The Israelis tried to assassinate. You guys said you wanted regime change. No regime change. So it was a complete fucking failure. What was the point? What was the point? Ayatollah Khamenei said the strikes did not accomplish anything significant, end quote, to disrupt Iran's nuclear program, and has described the retaliation against an American airbase in Qatar as dealing a heavy blow. It came as Washington doubled down on its assessments that the strikes had severely undermined Iran's nuclear ambitions. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said intelligence gathered by the U.S. and Israel indicated the operation, quote, significantly damaged the nuclear program, setting it back by years. So here's the thing. I said this earlier. I'm going to say it again. If I let you borrow my car and then you call me and you go, bro, I'm so sorry. Your car has been completely and totally obliterated. I'm going to go, what? So it's gone? It's gone. It's totaled. It's vaporized. It's gone. And then I show up and it looks like, oh, there's my car. And you go, I told you, man, it's been significantly damaged. What? Significantly damaged? You said it was completely and totally obliterated. What the fuck? Those are two completely different things. Vastly different fucking things. And also, setting it back a couple of years, brother, I was just saying, so what, we're going to keep this going? That is going to make them want a nuclear weapon. As I've said numerous times, we don't bomb Russia, we don't bomb North Korea, we don't bomb China. Why? Because they have nuclear weapons. Because if we bomb them, well, that's running a risk of starting a nuclear war, right? So you're admitting that you will just continue to bomb Iran for years, forever, every time they try to make a nuclear weapon, and there's no way out of this for them. Brother, you're going to make them want a nuclear weapon even more, because then they can hold it up and go, all right, we got a nuclear weapon, now you got to fucking stop bombing us, just like you don't bomb everybody else, and now you got a nuclear Iran. This is unironically, you are going to cause the problem that you are trying to prevent. Unbelievable. Previously, U.S. President Donald Trump said the strikes against 3 key nuclear sites inside Iran, quote, totally obliterated them, and has responded furiously to reports citing unnamed American officials suggesting the damage may have been less extensive than anticipated. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Dude, our government is run by a whole bunch of fucking petulant children. My bad. Literally, he's a petulant child. That is what Donald Trump is. He like stamps his fucking fist and goes, "You don't write good stories about me. Stop writing bad stories about me." Like it's so fucking crazy. And these fucking bootlicking chuds spoon feed it. They love it. They love it. They fully support it. It's unreal. All right, listen. If you're watching this live, you can stay. We're going to keep on going. If you're watching this pre-recorded on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing and it helps me immensely. Also, this is real independent journalism. So if you want to help me out financially, you could become a patron, you could become a member, you could buy merch, you could donate to the channel, and you can use a 40% off discount code for the Ground News Vantage subscription located in the description below. Other than that, do me one last favor. Click that video right over there. I promise you, it's a banger, and I know bangers.